Welcome to Pop Culture Retro, which was recently voted the 15th best podcast by the residents of Golden Years Retirement Community in Boca Raton, Florida. Each show will revisit some of your favorite pop culture memories with insider and outsider perspectives. Now, please help me welcome your hosts, Moosie Drier and Jonathan Rosen.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Pop Culture Retro. I'm Jonathan Rosen with Moosie Drier, and today we're thrilled to welcome a star of stage, screen, and television. She's won the Drama Desk Award, the Outer Critics Circle Award. She's been Tony nominated and Emmy nominated. She was a star in the original Broadway production of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, and reprised her role in the movie version. She was one of the stars of the Disney classic The Love Bug. She's been awarded a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She's also been a writer, director, and producer. She was one of the stars of the landmark drama Knots Landing, and currently she co-hosts a podcast with Donna Mills and Joan Van Ark called We're Not Done Yet. Please help us welcome Michele Lee. Michele, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Is this the first time they are seeing me right now?
Right now, yes.
If you hear, by the way, a new audience out there, anything at my door going, it's my dog. She doesn't like that I have these doors closed. So, okay, if it gets bad, I'll just go to the door as I usually do, and I'll say, someone come and help me.
No, that's not a problem. Not a problem. I have 4 pets in this house right now, so I hear you. Okay, so we definitely have some stuff to cover. Miss Lee, thank you so much for being here. And so let's go back to
I'm Michele.
Michele. Okay, Michele. Thank you.
Although I love Miss Lee, but go
on. So you were born in Los Angeles, and your dad was Jack Dusick?
Dusick, yes.
Yeah. A makeup artist, right? And so I'm curious. So when you were a youngster, did he ever take you to the set? And maybe that's what sparked your interest in entertainment?
No, he didn't. He did take me to the set often, but I was already interested. My mom said this is true. My mom said I started really singing in the crib. She said I would do this. No, not that. She said I would do this. I was hearing my voice, and it was musical always.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay, so you attended Hamilton High School here in LA, and you were discovered by legendary Broadway producer David Merrick, right? How did that go down?
Okay. There was a skip of time there, but it was so interesting. I'll tell you next time. No, I'm only kidding. Okay. We're going to start with me starting and being interested in singing first, really, not acting. It was as a performer. And I started professionally, I'd say, making very little, this much money, singing with a band on the weekends when I was in high school. And I was known in high school as the singer, okay? So I was always up on the stage, the auditorium, whatever, and they would always ask me to sing. So I was already doing it. But I'll tell you something interesting. I think for all people, we all could learn by this lesson. There was never, ever a moment in time that I debated whether I could make it or not. Listen to it psychologically. We've heard it in different ways. But if someone said, I never said that I want to be a singer. I knew I was going to be a singer, meaning successful, never thinking a star. It was always music. And so it was coming. I knew it was coming. It was a positive. And my parents never ever made my wish for doing it a negative. Of course, and I'm going to add this, think of the time. It was a time when it was okay for women not to really know what they want or not to be, they could always be a housewife. Then I didn't have to make it like my brother had to make it, right? My brother had to do something, but I didn't. So there's a freedom in that. And, I don't know uh, if it's true or not, whether there's any other put upon women today that, and hopefully not, that can't really find their way because they haven't had the emotional and psychological help that some parents could give them. How long was I on? Geez, I talk a lot.
There's no time limit. It's
We don't
all
have a
great.
time limit. Yes.
And yeah, that's interesting. That's totally interesting because, obviously being a male, or hopefully it's obvious, but, uh, you know, I never thought about like back in the day, back, we didn't like my older sisters or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there was less pressure in a way because they weren't expected to carry the last name
Yeah,
forward.
but you're a lot younger than I am. I hope,
No.
I hope not. However, I think he is. I think he is. I kind of know
I
he
worked with
is.
you. Do you know that? Do you remember ever doing I think you did more than one Dick Van Dyke special.
Yeah.
But there was one called The Confessions of Dick Van Dyke. And
Yes.
yeah, Bill Persky and Sam Denoff, this great
Yes.
producing duo. Those two guys were great with me. I worked with them a bunch of times, but I played Dick Van Dyke's son in a sketch. You and I didn't really like do it, work together, do anything, but my mom and my older sisters, I grew up in a house full of all girls. They're like, Michele Lee. They went crazy that you were. So what happened? So Dick would have his specials, and then he'd have kind of like it was his show, his special, but
Yes.
he'd have like the number one guest, like sidekick for the special, and you were that for
Yeah.
him, and
Was
you
it- I
sang
was
beautifully. And what's that?
I was the guest
Yeah.
star.
Yeah, but like then there were some of us who were in one sketch who might want to call ourselves a guest star, but you were yeah, or you were the
Twice more, and maybe the audience would understand how very important I was before Knots Landing.
oh yeah. My sisters, I remember they were so impressed. I'm like, I love you, but at the time, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was like my favorite movie in the world, so I was a huge Dick Van Dyke fan. But they just all wanted to talk about Michele Lee.
Well, no, I've talked about Dick Van Dyke now. Did you know that first of all, the first time I met him was in a movie we did called The Comic.
Comic,
It was
right.
a Carl Reiner movie. And Dick and I hate saying Dick and I, Mr. Van Dyke. It's like I know him so well, and I've known him since then, all these years. I was actually at his house on his 100th
Oh,
birthday.
wow.
That's the kind of relationship. But oh my gosh, this man. Um, I haven't been with him since then, but he is so magical. And yes, I did many, many shows with him after the movie. Shows meaning, there would be confessions of whatever. And I once did Persky and Denoff, did a special called The First 9 Months Are the Hardest. And it was the three couples, me and Jim Ferrantino, who I was married to and was my son's father. And Sonny and Cher was another one. And Ken Berry, oh God, don't do this, Michelle. I forgot her name and I know her. I just went for a second at my age. Every once in a while I can do that. I show my age.
Well,
But anyway, in that special, okay, there were three couples who were all pregnant. It started with us pregnant. And then you see us going to another phase of pregnancy and then another phase. All of us fall in love with our doctor. The doctor is Dick Van Dyke. So that was another one I did where we all fell in love with our dear Mr. whatever his name was,
uh-huh.
dear doctor, something else, because I'm too old to remember the name. Bum, bum. Okay, but that was another one. And I did, God, other things too, like Critical Ward whatever. And he does, as I do, by the way, all kinds of dancing, and he never really had a formal time where he was being taught how to dance. And I went through a couple of things also when I was very young, but not a formal year to year to year dance training. So Dick, Mr. Van Dyke, had, and I mean this when I say it, I have to tell you, I digress a lot. You'll
No.
have to put me back where I was. But there are certain people, and see, I can get emotional about this, and he's one.
Mhm.
You can't call Dick Van Dyke Dick, my friend Dick. You know, Michele Lee. I've been friends with Dick for years and years. There's something that I don't think I'm trying to remember if I ever said, and we've been out to dinner, they've taken me to lunch. He's been to a couple birthday parties. And I don't think I have ever seen him across the room and said, "Hey, Dick, come here for a minute."
Can I ask you, is that because he should be called Sir Dick Van Dyke because he's so like he deserves more than just a little flippity first name because
Yeah.
he's
And
amazing?
obviously, there are a lot of people that he knew, and maybe less and less, as he talks about all the time. It's one of his things that he's losing his friends.
Mhm.
But I think there's not too many people who deserve that kind of awe that you just, I'm sure a lot of people call him Dick. Maybe his wife even does. Who knows? But that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. That's Mr. Van Dyke to you. I'm sure he doesn't say to his wife, but yeah. So
Yeah.
this is thank you for that. He's just a legend, and I'm a big fan of physical comedy. He's the god there. He and Chaplin, in my opinion.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this is why I'm the worst podcast co-host because I brought up the Confessions of Dick Van Dyke, which we don't have written down. I didn't plan on it. You are so wonderful to elaborate on so
That's
much. I think I just blew up future questions
no,
to Jonathan. I'm sorry.
no,
Okay. It's going to go on and on. You know me,
Good.
but
Yeah.
no, that's
Yeah,
great.
you
yeah.
I
ask
love
me
hearing
one
those
thing,
stories.
I'm a
But
Oh, it
happy.
was amazing.
I do want to ask you that. I'll get back to what I did want to ask you there because I absolutely love, and I've seen it so many times, how to succeed in business without really
Mm.
trying.
Now she's thinking, I wish that he were more of a flirt. And he's thinking,
I guess a little flirting won't hurt.
and now she's thinking, for dinner we could meet. And he's thinking,
We both have got to eat, huh?
then she says, and he says,
Gesundheit.
thank you.
Well, it's been a long day.
Well, it's been a long, been a long, been a long, been a long day.
Such a fun musical, great songs. You were great in it. So let's start with the play because you originated the role of Rosemary in the Broadway production opposite Robert Morse. So can you walk us through your audition, memories of the show, and
Okay.
working with Robert Morse and Rudy Valley?
Okay. He wasn't younger than me.
Okay.
No.
No, I will. I used to say this all the time, or not have to, but now I do because everybody thinks I was the original in the Broadway production. What actually happened was everybody kind of click into this. I'm going to go back and forth a little.
Okay.
I was in a show called Bravo Giovanni on Broadway. It didn't last a long time. We were maybe 8 months with a time off in between trying to find the audience. But I went during that time to see how to succeed in business. And there was Robert Morse.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe your audience doesn't know who Bobby Morse is. Oh my God, a genius. He passed away last year, or maybe even the year before that. But I fell totally in love with Bobby Morse, who was the star of How to Succeed in Business. He was magical on the stage and hilariously funny. The person who was playing his love, his girlfriend, Rosemary, was someone else. It wasn't.
Okay.
So what happened was she got pregnant. Okay. She got pregnant and they went, oh, she got pregnant. The ingenue. She got pregnant. And I was in Bravo Giovanni. So I got a call and said, would you like to do How to Succeed? And I went crazy. So what you could say about Michele Lee and How to Succeed is that I was with the original cast,
Okay.
but there was a little bit of time before I actually joined. Now, joining it, I will say, or anybody who's replacing someone is ridiculous because you don't rehearse with the actors in the show. You usually rehearse with the stage manager, who's the person that stays off, I was going to say off camera, off stage in the wings, and they give directions to anybody backstage who has to hear. So he would rehearse with me, and he would say, there's a door there. So when you leave so-and-so, you go behind this furniture and there's a door there. You open the door and come in and you start your dialogue with Robert Morse. And then he plays Robert Morse and we rehearse. So the night that I opened, the first night, okay, there's the scenery, there's the door, there's Robert Morse. I tried to open the door, but I was doing it backwards because if you're pantomiming in rehearsal, opening it and going this way, and you realize, oh no, it goes this way, and I'm shaking on, well, those are one of the little problems we could obviously have when you're getting on the stage for the first time. Yes, I did. Let me take a breath. Yes, I did the movie too, and I loved it. How to Succeed, incredible. And I'll tell you, one of the interesting things about How to Succeed, I hope your people out there aren't bored because they might not know it.
No. We don't exactly have a teenage audience. We,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Enough said. When we were filming How to Succeed, I think I had my 21st birthday or something like early birthday while we were shooting it. Maybe I was a little older, but it was odd because, of course, they have to sell the movie, not just domestically, but they have to make good with the rest of the world. Okay, you have to sell it to different. Okay. It seems that other countries didn't perhaps like musicals the way we do. So we shot two different ways of doing How to Succeed. We go, how to, for our people out there, apply for a job. How to, Rosemary. Okay. Then they'd say, cut, going on for our foreign people. And we would go all of the dialogue up to the song, and then we'd switch from there to the dialogue at the back of the song. So there were no songs. We just did. I cannot believe. So we had to keep it two ways. Okay, now I need a question. I got lost in my own brilliant thoughts.
No, well, I was asking about the play, but how was it transitioning to the movie? Because that was your first movie, right?
No.
It wasn't.
No, let me see. How to Succeed. What was my first movie? Maybe it was. See, I'm old enough not to remember what I did. Hold it. When was The Love Bug?
That was after.
It was after, yeah. We got you covered.
Was it my first? Maybe.
According to IMDb, it's your first film.
Really?
Maybe, yes.
AI. What was my first?
No, it shows How to Succeed in Business was your first
Okay.
film, but you did have TV roles before then.
Right. So I have a question. So
Yeah.
I can't name too many people who have done as many hours in front of a camera on television as you.
Mhm.
How did you get your break into television? What was your first TV gig actually?
Doing television long before Knots Landing. Long.
Yeah.
Because we had, oh, what a good time it was, and we need it now. We had the ability to do musicals all the time. They were called Ed Sullivan and they were called Carol Burnett and whatever. And every week we would do, they would put people on the show, and there were specials, also specials, where it was a one-time special and not necessarily Carol Burnett who would do one after another. So I did so many of them. I did one after another after another. I had a recording contract.
Mhm.
And how did that work out? Then I did have a hit, and I'm going to tell you what my hit was, if you remember out there. Okay, my hit on Columbia Records.
Columbia Records. Yep.
Mhm.
L. David Sloan, but bum bum bum, leave me alone. Begging for a chance to forget you, so maybe I can start anew. Boom boom boom, L. David Sloan, get off the phone. God, I remembered up to there.
Encore.
It hit. Was a hit.
I
Anyway.
love it.
Yeah. So I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah, those are the kinds of things I did before Knots Landing.
Mhm.
And I loved doing it because it was, I mean, the stage is, there's nothing like the stage, but
Mhm.
breaking into another venue, television, was a time that was magical and could be today. There's actually today brilliant shows, I think, that are being streamed, series and all kinds of things that are really wonderful. But we don't have very many musicals and specials and whatever. And I think today, as we're all kind of drowning in our own.
Kardashian. I mean, it, I'm with you. I'm with you. I miss it. I miss the Sonny and Cher show. I miss,
Oh my God.
you know,
Did we laugh? And today it's just, forget the business. I mean, sometimes, as I said, there's brilliant things that we can watch and brilliant movies that we could see, although it's getting more difficult. But when we're in this kind of mud, mire, whatever, a frightening time for all of us, and maybe the world to some degree. Um, don't we need it? It's like we
yeah.
need. We,
I always feel like I sound like an old coot and I'm a broken record, but families don't get together anymore because if you're not there at 8 o'clock in front of the TV, you're going to miss it. And sit down and you have some snacks or have dinner or whatever and get together. It's like appointment television. And I think that takes
oh,
away from family bonds. It just does.
perfectly. Now, I will tell you why. I'm sure you were going to get to this anyway. That is why Knots Landing today is about as big a hit as it was when we did it in the 80s. And people who and they're showing it on different
Streaming services, yes.
whatever they are. But people loved that family on Knots Landing because
Mhm.
they represented what you're talking about. And when we would talk about Knots Landing at the time, to explain who we were on Knots Landing, we would say that we're the family with the picket fence and the station wagons or whatever. We would sit down perhaps and watch Dallas. It was them. We would, oh, let's see all those rich people. We were them. And now we're missing family, the unity of a community of people who you love and have around you. So it's like people are eating this show up.
Well, yeah. And I think it lends to what we were just saying about, a better time, a happier time, a simpler time back when, families would sit together and watch these things. What is nostalgia about? You want to go and revisit that feeling. So that's why Knots Landing today is still, that's why so many people want to go back
Yes.
and take themselves there again. Yeah.
And that's why I know this is something else you probably would want to talk about, but or you don't know about that we do a podcast.
Yes, definitely going to bring that.
Called, it's called We're Not with a K Done Yet.
Right.
And it was Joan Van Ark who thought of the title. And I was very frightened at first. It was like, it sounds like we need a job. We're not done yet. Oh, somebody, would you maybe look at me, give me a little paycheck? But we are having the best time. Although, as you might know, there's a lot of homework to do and a lot of things that we have to do because we're producing it also. You might be, but what we have to do is find people who would be interesting for us on the show. And of course, initially, all of our fans out there, the Knots Landing people, wanted to see and hear about Knots Landing. So we would bring people from Knots Landing on the show. And every time we would try to go somewhere else, they'd go, well, what happened to Knots Landing? And I hate that, by the way, because and we're doing more and more people on the outside because there are so many interesting people in the world. And when you hear them, it just, as we're doing right now, it rings so many bells to us as it would have on with the family that lived on Seaview Circle. Stack on Knots Landing.
Yeah.
We are going back to, this is a little plug or not, but we are going to go back to the cul-de-sac and walk from, well, of course, we have to get permission from people who live there, but we're going to go house to house first and say, do you mind if we come see your house on this cul-de-sac? But of course, we did not shoot in their houses. What we did was we would, Mac, I'm going to bring in the groceries. I'll meet you inside. And then I'd put my hand on the knob and I'd start to turn it, start to open, cut to the real studio.
Right.
They have me with groceries walking in a set,
Right.
course,
Listen, if you three ladies show up at anybody's door and ask them, you can have my house, you can take it. They're not, who's going to say no? What I was going to say before about the title of your wonderful podcast, it doesn't land on our ears that way, that we're not done. Like we need work, but no, it sounds like we have more to say. And I love it. I love the title. Joan Van Ark is clever in that way. That was great. Can I ask you about, I remember you in The Love Bug. I believe it's the last film that Mr. Disney, authorized before he, I guess, went to Tomorrowland. That was a great film, a fun film. And can you tell us about that film and playing opposite Dean Jones?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was, I'm not even sure that Mr. Disney was there at the time. I can't remember. I never saw him. Okay. But doing that movie was awesome because it was before we could shoot movies the way we do now. Mm-hmm. So if we were, for instance, this is like opening a door with groceries and going into the set at MGM, right? But Sony later. But it's amazing what we would do. They had a mock-up of the little car, right? And the Volkswagen. and we would be in it, the three of us, Buddy Hackett, me, and Dean Jones, and wearing our helmets. I always said, I'm the one with the helmet. That's how you'll know me.
Yeah, it sounded good, buddy. Yeah.
Say, they would say, okay, Michele, okay, guys, you're now jumping over the river and action. Or I swear, or they would do at times, they would shake the car. Oh, now the little car. Oh, now the little car is nervous. They'd shake it. I guess he's nervous.
Right.
We could go on and on about that, but I got to tell you, and Dean Jones, of course, the great Dean Jones. And I did a few things with him other than that, but he was so good and so great at comedy. And he was just easy to be around. And Buddy Hackett, who actually, interesting enough, was kind of a friend of mine, really, he and his wife at the time, because think of the time I was singing that I told you about, all these specials, all these things. I was doing it all during that time. So I would go to parties at Buddy's house and Lucy Arnaz. I went right to this time, who's also a friend of mine, but her mom,
Lucille Ball. Yeah.
I love Lucy Person, was in a group of people that I knew and everybody loved, like Buddy Hackett, and you can go on and on and on. I was caught in the middle of the generation because I was really younger than all of them. I was older than I was caught. So I would see them often. And so when I did the Love Bug, I already knew Buddy, who was, and you know this, out of his mind. Out.
He was like a half a step from Jonathan Winters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Believable. Because I can't even do him. Can you guys do him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't attempt it, but I got to say, like, that's kind of what the ingredient he used to be so funny was. He was a little wired, a little funky.
Very
Not in a bad way, but just like he was a kook.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And that's who he was all the time. That's who he was on the set. But wait a minute. Wait, hold it. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something. The movie that I did with Mr. Van Dyke, which was called The Comic, also had Mickey Rooney in it. And I went in my brain from the people we were talking about, like
Right.
to that other guy who was more insane. I mean, you could.
Mickey Rooney was more insane than Buddy Hackett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, you know that.
I played Mickey Rooney in the Judy Garland story called Rainbow that Jackie Cooper directed. So I did a lot of research on Mickey Rooney. Jonathan Winters was probably thinking, "Hey, this guy's crazy. He was nuts."
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh my God. It's so wonderful to hear what people have done that off right now.
You were talking about the comics. I just wanted to ask about Carl Reiner directing it. So, as well, just a bunch of giants in that movie.
Yeah. This you can really cut out what I'm going to say. It kills me every time I hear the name. When I think of, oh God, if he only knew what happened to his family.
Yeah.
And why am I bringing this up? I know you have to cut it out. It's just, I can't get over it. I can't.
I know.
We need more family happiness. And maybe certain things would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We took care of business. I'm so sorry, editor, and you guys.
Hey, it
I
happened. It's life. It's
Right.
one of the most unfortunate things I can think of that I
Yeah.
ever learned about. So, I mean, but it happened,
Yeah. So when someone says, I'll get right back to what you were talking about, except for the first sentence. When someone says Carl Reiner to me, I go right so that other people
Wow. Mhm.
can't help it. I could.
Sure. Understandable.
Carl Reiner was as magical as you would think he would be. And of course, he was such a good friend of Dick Van Dyke's. You know, they loved each other. And yeah, Carl. We used to go on picnics once a year with the people you know, it'd be the the writers who worked together and people in the business. They would Carl would start a picnic once a year in a park here, Roxbury Park, and everybody and their kids would go with the picnic bags, and we'd all say hello to everybody. And then we'd have things for the kids, like, you know, hop in a sack and whatever. And I used to walk into rock in the sack. What did I say? Play hop in the sack. I used to hop in the sack. Ah,
Oh, well, you have kids, right?
okay. I was looking for that word. Okay. Not really.
Well, let me ask you about this. So, I mean, we're talking about Mr. Reiner and, you know, these other people, Hackett and Rooney and all that stuff. You worked with so many legends. It's one after another. So I have to ask about the Carol Burnett show. Was it as fun as it seemed?
Yeah. Well, keeping me outside of that team, they were remarkable, just watching the talent. And we always rehearsed together on that show for X amount of time before it was shot, because you wouldn't just shoot it in and learn everything in one day. There was a process. And all I can remember, and I've seen Carol Burnett subsequent to that, she is as wonderful as you would think she is.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to recommend that you be stricken from the welfare roll.
What? What? Oh, I mean, what?
Mr. Fusco, it's perfectly obvious that you haven't made an honest effort to seek employment. And Mrs. Fusco, I can see by your daughter that you certainly haven't made an honest effort to be a good mother.
That's because you haven't met our son, Brewster. Brewster!
Hiya, baby doll.
Hello, Brewster. Oh, well, you certainly are a strapping young man.
Now, for a social worker, you're pretty stacked yourself.
Well, he certainly is a very polite young man.
I kind of thought you might like him.
She's also calming. I can't could express it. She's not all over the place like maybe Michele Lee is. She is. It's so good to meet you. And yes, it's like what you see when you're watching her show and she's talking to different people and laughing. And she loved the people who played with her. Loved those guys. And they would get like crazy laughing at her or she with them. Right. And that was such a fun show to be around. When I was at CBS doing Knots Landing, also where it might have been right after, I shared an office space with her, me on one side, she on the other side when I was producing a lot of stuff. She was never in the office. And a lot of times I wasn't either. It was like, someone do this. Can someone use the Rolodex? It's hard for me to roll. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. Go on. Ask me something else.
I just wanted to just put a button on Carol Burnett, but it's in the thread of what we have been talking about. When first of all, she was a genius in that her ego didn't let anything get in the way. Tim Conway, Harvey Korman, Vicki Lawrence, all of them, Lyle Wagner, I believe. Whoever, the best joke, the funniest person wins. Like she never it never felt like she was upstaged or upset about it in any way. You never heard any stories of that. So she was really smart in that way. But come on, when she would come and talk to the audience and then the ear thing and all that, that's the family thing. That's the warmth, the comfort. That's the quilt that, that we don't have anymore in television. Anyway,
that's right.
my words. So, what about laughing? You did Road Mountains laughing. Was this?
Two of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot, but I did. A lot
kooky.
of people,
Yeah.
although I have a little sense of humor. Maybe they didn't know I had the sense of humor that sense of humor of. I didn't do too many. I did a couple.
I'm sorry.
Failed. I didn't do more laughing. Oh my God, everybody did laughing and I did shine.
I do want to ask about one show. Well, yeah, because, and then we could go something else. I'm not sure how many times you get asked about this, but this was religious viewing in my house. You competed on Battle of the Network Stars. So I have to find out. Tom Selleck was the captain in your year. Your team won in your episode. I watched it. So other people we've had on said that at first everyone was just there for fun and joking around. But once the competition started, everyone got serious.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
what was your experience?
I was very serious about what's his name?
Which Tom Selleck?
Tom Selleck. I was
Okay.
serious about him. I
Oh.
tried to get as close to him as I could, inch up a little bit to Tom. And no, it was fun. Everything is competition when you do something like that, right?
Right. Let's talk about Knots Landing then. Okay, so at first you were the only cast member that appeared all 344 episodes. How did you first become involved in the show?
I got a phone call and they said, "Would you like to do the show called Knots Landing?"
That's it?
It was
Okay.
at that time, you said, when I really didn't have to audition. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at a party and Michael Fileman, who was one of the producers of the show and showrunner at the time, along with David Jacobs, who actually conceived the show, along with Dallas. I was at this party and I think it was at my agent's house. And then Michael Fileman said to my agent, "I think I found Karen," who was my character's name. And they looked at me, "Oh my God, she's Karen." And that's how it happened. I was called in to meet David Jacobs. And I didn't know whether I wanted to do that show because I didn't understand what it was as this. I'll get into that in a minute. But then I watched Dallas and I thought, oh, that's what Knots Landing is, but it's a different kind of group of people. I didn't know what Knots Landing was. And so I was a little like, what is this? Okay. But I really loved the character as it once was in the beginning. And so I really had a good time doing that. And we all loved each other. The actors were unbelievably talented. All of the actors, most of us came from theater. And we had, if you watched it or anybody out there did, there was so much comedy in everything we did. Okay. We had, no matter what it was, if it was a serious character, that underneath you would find certain things that were funny. And of course, Kevin Dobson, who played my husband, and I would say romantic comedy scenes, one after another after another. It was just us doing comedy until we had to do straight drama. But that's what was so much fun about it.
Well, your character faced these deeply personal storylines like widowhood and prescription, drug dependency, and your famous Pollyanna speech in the 300th episode. How that's the delicious role to play, by the way.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite storyline, the one that you always look back on, or just wish that it just would have continued?
Oh, continued is a good way of putting it. I think as we went on, I was longer than anyone, and they might have felt the same way I did. As it went on, I was less, I don't know what the less was, but I felt it got too much soap opera. It's like, what do you do after X amount of years? What storyline do you tell? So as it went on, it did get into everybody loves soap opera out there, so I'm not putting it down, but it became much more soapish than in the beginning when we were telling stories about these people and their home life and whatever, which was carried over, but not as much. And so as far as my my character goes, I would say, to answer that question you asked about 15 minutes ago.
You're funny.
I will tell you, I can't pinpoint everything. You know, when you're Donna Mills playing the bad girl with a heart for her children, the good and bad of us, and poor Val, who was loving her husband so much and kept losing him, and she was always loving him, trying to get, and I was Karen. And so what happened was, in the beginning, I could do all these delicious scenes with Mac, and I was best friends with Joan Van Ark, and we'd have all these things together, our scenes, fabulous. But as it went on, it was like I started to lose people around me. My daughter, who had brilliant scenes with me in it. Why am I saying?
Is that Tanya Crow or no?
No, that was
okay.
that was someone else's daughter. Okay, brilliant storyline. But I had these great scenes with her, and then all of a sudden, she took a left turn and she left the show, and it was like, okay. And then I had best friend Joan Van Ark, who would always come, and we'd have the girlfriend talk about whatever, and it was always funny or good. Usually ending, always in my kitchen, and usually ending with the two of us looking out solemnly. Let's go get pizza. That would be the line we'd always say. Let's get pizza.
Pizza will solve everything.
It was like, that's how we solved our problems. Yeah. But I will tell you, not surviving, another reason it was so good was that we followed the time. We followed what was happening in our world. And none of the other hit shows did that. In other words, in the beginning, in the beginning, the back door would open and Joan Van Ark, Val, my best friend, would walk in and say, Karen, I'm here. Come to the kitchen, we'll have coffee. She would come into my house. And then after a period of time goes by, we realize it's too dangerous not to lock your door. And at that time, everybody had knocked on doors. You had to go open them. You see what happens. And we went through 5 presidents during our show. Wow. So and the Pollyanna speech, by the way, came out of the big change, which was, there was a time where a little girl was on her front lawn in real life, and she was kidnapped from her front lawn. And that was a big deal. And also was a time where there was a lot of money problems, okay, for all of us. And so what would happen is a lot of people who really needed money would start taking money. They'd open mail, they'd take out checks or cash or whatever, or they'd steal something in your car, on and on and on. That's how the Pollyanna speech became. Wow. Because what Pollyanna was about, and why they keep talking about it, was that it was a time. And it was my character saying, I am tired of it. You can't send money through the mail. Your kids can't go out on the front lawn.
You just said life is too short. You're going to have to let go of that anger someday, Gary. You just have to.
Yeah, well, check with me in about 50 years, Polly.
I am not a Pollyanna.
Ha.
Not now. Not after what was done to me. And that's why I feel so angry.
What, that you're not a Pollyanna?
I want to be a Pollyanna. I don't want to look at the world through rose-colored glasses. I want the world to be rose-colored. I want people to be nice. People should be nice. Nice should be the norm. I hate it that I can't trust anyone. I hate it that I can't put my daughter on the front lawn by herself. I hate it that I have to lock my car and I have to worry about an alarm system in my house and I can't send cash in the mail. That's not the way it's supposed to be, Gary. I liked being a Pollyanna. I want to be a Pollyanna. That's what I want.
It was a railing of things that we couldn't do anymore. I had to put an alarm on my house. I had to put an alarm on my car. I had to then I couldn't send money anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm not a Pollyanna. Someone accused me of being a Pollyanna. I wish I was a Pollyanna. That's what I want. I want to be a Pollyanna.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, speaking of Pollyanna, that reminds me that I want to ask you about Along Came Polly, which you played Ben Stiller's mother in. What was that film like? Give it to us. What do you got? What was it like to work with
Jennifer Aniston? Was well, they all that group of people were great too. But I mean, we all know we know everybody that we love on that show. And Aniston, to this very day, if I run into her somewhere, she'll immediately go to that movie that we loved. And it was so much fun because, and actually I did a lot of other scenes in the movie that unfortunately were cut. And what people don't understand something, if any scene doesn't progress story, you know this. If you're doing a scene and it's a great scene, but it doesn't progress the story the way a writer or producer would want it to do, they're the first ones that go. They can be brilliant, but they're the first ones that can go, I'll give you a lesson later if you write me. Thank you so much for being with me today. And tune in and support us and like us. Okay? We're not done.
Yeah.
And these two, too.
Oh, okay, so when I think of your career, I think about all these things we were talking about, but music seems to be quite a thread from Broadway cast albums that you've been on and your Columbia Records releases, and you sang on Knots Landing. Is there a performance that is your favorite? That your performance, your favorite singing performance that you have?
Oh, there's so many of them. It's hard for me to remember the one. No, I did a Broadway show in the 70s called Seesaw. And so many people remember Seesaw.
Yeah.
Well, that was such a turbulent show, right? There was a lot of turbulence in that show.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
I actually, I can't talk about it because not enough people know about it. It was my favorite character. It was Cy Coleman and Dorothy Fields. It was Dorothy Fields' last show. And I remained, and I already was very good friends with Cy Coleman, but the score is so delicious and my character, oh my God, I loved it. But this is getting boring for them, I think. Let me tell
you. No, not at all. Not at all. Are you kidding me? No. And a lesser quality podcast with less class would ask you, well, can you sing us a bar or two from, Seesaw? But we would never.
I go back to Seesaw, leave me alone. I'm begging for a chance to forget you. If maybe I could start anew. L. David Sloan. Get off the phone. Okay, and that I went on too long. Okay,
no, not at all.
No, never. No, I love it. I love that.
Again, Michelle, we don't want to take up much of your time, but this was such an honor for us. I mean, we were so looking forward to speaking to you, and thank you so much for coming on. I mean, such a big fan for years and years and years, so this was such a treat to get to speak to you.
Oh, and you really don't age. I'm not kidding.
No, I mean, for real. Yes.
It's amazing. You don't age.
Filters.
Hey, whatever it takes. But I know.
By the way,
this is real me.
Someone had wanted me to ask you about the bowling that you did, the celebrity bowling.
I love that. Yeah. I did a show where I bowled. Right. And my son was there. And
he ran onto you. He ran to you at the end.
Oh my God. That was fun.
I love it.
So see, people did want to hear about this stuff. But
Yeah.
again, Michele, thank you. And the podcast again is We're Not Done Yet.
Please support us, join us,
Yes.
love us. We're having fun.
I
And we-
hope so. This was great. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I mean, you are so gracious to give us your time. And
I appreciate it.
you have so much great, happy energy. And I'll have what you're having. Honest to
Yeah.
goodness.
Unfortunately, as soon as I take off this makeup,
See?
what happens is I have a hunchback. Head comes out.
I sincerely doubt that.
I sincerely got it too. But, let me sign. I'll sign us off now. Give me what's okay. This has been Pop Culture Retro.
Trying to get me off.
No, we can stay all day. We have so many more questions, but we don't want to keep. So
You're gonna have to come back because
yes, we have a lot more questions, and I'm not even kidding. So
yeah, we went on so many wonderful roads with you. You're an amazing guest, and I think I threw us off one or two times, but please come back. Please come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, I'll sign us off. So hold up 1 second.
Uh-huh.
So again, this has been Pop Culture Retro. I'm Jonathan Rosen with Moosie Drier. Again, a very special thanks to Michele Lee. Her podcast is We're Not Done Yet. And please like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Culture Retro, where no one was hurt during the making of this podcast. Listening to this podcast just makes you really cool.